a goats project. By the way, among the projects that somebody can start with is the goats project. Reason being, the goats are not such a kind of animals that may need a lot of inputs. As I told you, I started with 4 goats. The 4 goats went on multiplying. And when you look at the goats, when you are starting the goats, you don't have just to pick any goat. You need to look at the breed. The breed of the Boer goats is such a good breed, which helps actually to multiply very faster. When we look at these goats, each goat, female goat, can produce 2. There are others which produce 3. Others produce 4, but they are few. But 3, 2, that is the range. So you find if the goat begins, when the goat begins producing, it will not stop tomorrow. It will have to continue producing and producing. 2, when you look at these goats, the inputs, they are limited. Like you are not going to treat a goat like the way you treat a pig all the time. For them, what you have to do, you need to spray them. 2, you need to give them, to be timed in the way you feed them. Like our goats, we take them from around 10 to get some kind of grass up to around 1. Then we bring them back into their structure. Then we take them back at around 4 to have more feeding. Then by 5 or 6, they are back. Showing you that for the goats, you are not going to buy feeds. It is a matter of taking them to the bush. Now, the problem we are having, why we are failing to succeed in goat rearing, is because we are using to our local way of looking after these goats, putting them onto the ropes. A goat, when put onto the rope, it becomes very hard for it to add on and even to multiply faster. They also need free range to leave them and go freely. You need to have somebody to look after them so that they also feel comfortable. So you cannot go into the goats business when your interest is to have enough ropes and put them onto the grass. So that rope also limits them. 2, the goats also needs like nutrients, mineral leak. You need to have a mineral leak in their structure so that they also can add on into the nutrients they are getting. Also, when we are looking at these goats, goats are meant to eat on leaves. So it's very hard for a goat to look good when it is just feeding on grass. It has to look for those leafy plants. So at least in a day, make sure a goat gets some leaf to eat. I think in their digestive system there is the way it helps them and to grow better. Then still, when you are rearing them, you need to have somebody to treat them. We normally treat them of worms, we treat them of these ticks, we treat them of, at times they get diarrhea, and actually diarrhea disturbs them so much. So you need to have a veterinary doctor to make sure helps you. But the main challenge with the goats is these polythene bags, polythene papers. You need, when you are looking after these goats, you also have to be vigilant in the area where there are no polythene bags. Because the moment it eats a polythene bag, that is a gone case. Even if it spends a year, it will have to die. So you make sure those who are looking after them, they inspect the environment so that they don't eat those kind of polythene bags.
On average?
Okay. On our market, when we are selling these goats, and it's of recent we just sold them, a goat of around 3 to 4 months, it is between 250 to 300. That is of Boer. And these old ones, the ones which are ready to produce, those ones are between 500 to 600 to 700. So somebody can buy. But most people, they buy these younger ones, the males specifically, to go and cross. Actually, when you have your locals, don't sell them off. Just buy a male good breed, that is Boer, and put into your females. You will cross and produce actually almost the same breed like what we are having. If you want, you are not interested in getting 100%. And actually we look at those people who are starters. When they get that cross kid, they grow very well because they can withstand the environment where they have gotten into a new environment. So you find when somebody is having 75 or 100% of the boa, people normally fail to maintain them. But when you get a crossed one, it can easily adapt to the current environment.